What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Let's Vibe Podcast, a podcast hosted by me, Vibe with Aid. In today's episode, we're getting cozy, we're getting a little chatty. I had something else planned for episode 25, but I just have a lot going on, a lot on my head, and I'm just going to brain dump into this episode. So I hope you guys are ready. Grab a snack, grab a drink, grab whatever you need, and let's vibe into today's episode. Welcome back, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy Wednesday. I know this is not our typical vibes day, Tuesday, you know what I mean. Poor planning on my part, technical difficulties, whatever you want to call it, you guys. I messed up, so here we are. Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys for being patient with me. Also, like I mentioned, today's episode was supposed to be about social media algorithms. That's what I had planned. I have that episode written down. We're going to talk about it next time. Maybe I'll record it this weekend and it'll get up next Tuesday. Who knows? There's just a lot on my mind, and I just was like, I need to just put this all somewhere, and I haven't journaled. Maybe that's what this is. I just need to put it somewhere. So we're going to talk about a lot today. This is probably going to be one big vibe check and then just a bunch of other random shit that's on my mind. It just came to me while I was going for my walk because I'm trying to get 10,000 steps. I was like, you know what? Maybe other people are going through this stuff. I really just don't feel like talking about social media and algorithms right now. I'm just not in the space right now. I would just come off very ranty and I would just be very annoying. So let's put it on the back burner. We have the content already written, so let's just do that next week. You know what I mean? So like I said, we're just gonna be here. We're just gonna be straight vibing today and talking about whatever's on my mind. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I've really been enjoying some podcasts where they just kind of freehand talk about kind of whatever. I found this podcast, Brunch with Des B. I've been really enjoying her podcast. It's just very raw and unfiltered and just very fun. And so I was like, you know what? Let's go for a Des B kind of vibe today. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have been having a great week so far. I will talk about my week in the past 2 weeks because it's been a minute since we've last updated. It's been since I got LASIK eye surgery, so we have lots to talk about. But first off, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, all of that jazz. I really appreciate everything that you guys have been doing to support the podcast. I also have an Instagram at Let's Vibe Podcast where you guys can follow along to some stuff there. And yeah, I think that's really it. If you guys are new, I'm Aid. Welcome. That was quite an intro to get into if this is your first time listening, but this is my podcast. I own Vibe with Aid, which is a music festival content creating brand that I created back in 2017, where I document my life and document me going to music festivals. And since that has been on pause, given the current state of our world, it has just been about what has been inspiring me, what do I vibe with, that kind of stuff. I've just been doing what I can to stay consistent, if you know what I mean. So I'm happy to have you here. So thank you for joining me today on your lovely Wednesday. Upcoming story submissions. I don't think I have any, but if you guys did not know, I have other podcast called Festival Tales Podcast. I host that with Jacob Babnick, aka Babs Life. We do that podcast every Monday, and so we read your guys' stories from music festivals, whether it's super sappy, funny, in the feels, dramatic, traumatic, super funny, whatever it is. Any festival stories you have, we would love to hear them. It's very fun to kind of look back on our festival memories, and so some of these stories have also triggered memories for us and stuff. So that's been super fun. It's been a nice little creative project for us. So yeah, please submit your stories at Festival Tales Podcast. Be sure to check that out every Monday. And I think that is about it. Also, sorry if you're watching on YouTube, you guys. It is so dark in my apartment right now. Austin just decided to casually drop to some 40-degree weather, and so I'm trying to do what I can with the lighting, but I realize it's getting darker and darker in here. I probably could have turned on the light above me, but you know what? We're going for some cozy vibes today, so whatever. Next up, we have a listener of the week. So if you guys decide to rate and review, if you listen on Apple Podcasts or if you tag me on Instagram when you're listening to the podcast, I do take note of that. And so this week's Listener of the Week is a 5-star rating from Apple Podcasts. I love you guys so much because all my ratings are 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. So thank you very much. This is from La Gilb Design, which I think is probably Laura Gilb. I want to say, one of my followers. I recognize the name, so I feel like it's her. So hi, Laura. She says, Aid is such a gem, and she's a wonderful podcaster. She covers some fun and also great topics like mental health that we can all relate to. Keep up the great work, Aid. Thank you. You know, it's really hard starting a podcast this year. I started this back in February, so it has definitely been a challenge. We've definitely gone through our ups and downs and stuff with this podcast, and I'm still figuring things out. But I'm very happy to have you guys here, and it's been really awesome. And so thank you so much, Laura. I really hope that you have a great rest of your week, and I'm going to send some good vibes your way. And yeah, so thank you so much for submitting that review, and thank you for all the support. I love you. So that is it for this segment of the episode. I am going to get into our vibe check. And so if you're new to the podcast, I do a vibe check every episode, basically, where I talk about what's been on my mind. I check in with myself. I check in with you guys, say what's up. This is kind of the more personal parts to me that you guys don't get to see from my Instagram, that you guys don't get to see from my YouTube videos. So this is a really great way for you guys to get a little personal with me, get to know me a little more. And I always ask these questions because I feel like they're really great for you to check in with yourself. That's why we call a vibe check, just to see, you know, how are we really doing? Like, do we really take that time to sit with ourselves and sit with our feelings? Like, we're always on to the next thing, or we're always on our phones, we're always watching Netflix, whatever it may be. Like, do we really actually take that time to sit with ourselves and sit with our thoughts and our feelings? I know, it's scary, very spooky indeed. And I realize I should have made this like a Halloween episode, but you know what, maybe next year. But dun dun dun, what happens when we actually sit with our feelings? Gasp. That is what the vibe check does, basically, just to see what are we doing? How can we better ourselves and what not? So what we'll do is we will take 3 deep breaths. First, inhale it in and exhale it back out. Next one in and exhale it out. Last one in and exhale it back out. And then I'll ask the following questions, and you can think in your head, journal, whatever feels good. So, how am I feeling today? Do I like this feeling? What could this feeling be trying to teach me? What could make today better, or is there a need to? What are 3 things I'm grateful for today? What could I affirm for myself today, or a goal I can set for myself? And so now I'll go ahead and share how I'm feeling, and you can ponder those questions throughout today. I feel like this vibe check, I'm going to answer all the questions, but then we're just kind of going to jump right into the episode and just talk about everything else that's on my mind, because there's just a lot going on up here, you guys. So bear with me. But today, I'm actually feeling pretty good. My Google Home fucked me over this morning, and she didn't wake me up when I wanted her to wake me up. And I literally told her twice. I confirmed with her twice. Google, is my alarm set for 5:30? She was like, yes, it's set for 5:30. I woke up at 3 or 4 for some reason. And then I was like, no, I'll sleep in. I'll just keep sleeping until my alarm goes off. And then I was having a really long dream. And I was like, man, this is really long. And then I woke up and I asked her what time it was. And it was 6:55. And I was like, so you're just going to forget about my alarm? Mercury is in retrograde, you guys, and I'm going to talk a lot more about that. But nonetheless, I got that rest. I guess I needed that rest. I still have really dark circles under my eyes, but I digress. I still got up and got groceries. Then I worked today, and then now we're here. So I've been feeling pretty good about it. I posted an Instagram quote being like, here's your daily reminder to just laugh it off, take a deep breath, and keep moving forward. That was the motto for today, honestly, because it was just laughable that my alarm didn't go off, and it was just, I was getting so angry about it and really mad about it. I was literally having a sit down talk with my Google Home being so why did my alarm not go off, you know? And then I was like, that's so silly. At least I'm awake, and the only reason I wanted to wake up early was to get the podcast done and uploaded, because I had left my little computer adapter at Chase's over the weekend. And so this computer adapter is my life, basically, because it adapts my HDMI from my monitor to my laptop. It connects my USBs to my laptop because Macs like to do that thing where you just don't have USBs all of a sudden or an HDMI port. I'll never get it. So I had to go get that from Chase's super late last night because he hadn't been home all day. So I had to go get that from him. And then by the time I got home, I was like, well, I could either just get a lot of sleep and wake up early and do the podcast, edit, upload it then. Or I can do this all tonight. And I was like, no, I really don't want to rush this, so let's do it in the morning. And then that didn't happen, so now here we are recording this right now. So that's kind of where I'm at. And now you guys can probably sense why there's just like a lot going on, a lot on my brain. But I'm feeling pretty good overall to sit down and record this episode with you guys. So do I like this feeling? Yes. I'm still pretty tired a little bit. I think this weather, it's so sad outside. It's so cold. I was not prepared. I don't have enough winter clothes. Like, I did a whole like decluttering before I moved of winter clothes, and now I'm freezing. So I need to go shopping soon. But otherwise, we're feeling pretty good. I get to make a yummy dinner. I'm so excited for dinner tonight, you guys. I'm making lettuce wraps, and I'm so excited. Can't wait for that. Next thing, what could this feeling be trying to teach me? Nothing really, except just to keep on moving forward and don't let seasonal depression kick in. What could make today better, or is there a need to? I don't think there really is a need to. I'm excited to cook some dinner and then just go to bed and do it all over again. 3 things I'm grateful for today. So I wrote this yesterday when I was like really excited to like record because I thought I was going to record last night. So I said, I'm grateful for a new week. If you watch on YouTube, you can see the face I made. Now I'm like, that doesn't really fit because it's already Tuesday, and by the time you guys listen, it's Wednesday. But I think I was feeling very optimistic about this week. I'm still feeling pretty optimistic about this week, but not enough to be like, I'm so grateful for it. Just so cheesy. I don't know. Do you ever like look at stuff that you wrote? Like, I look at my journal from like earlier this year and I'm like, damn, why'd you write this? Oh, yay. Number 2, I'm grateful for my journey. That's also pretty kind of cheesy, but I've just been thinking a lot about like how far I've come this year. We're on October. It's almost November, which is crazy to me. I still feel like it's March and it's just been the same day every day. But while this year has been really rough, I feel like I've made some strides personally that I'm really grateful for. And so, yeah, I've been very reflective on that, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Then the last one, also very cheesy. I'm grateful for my boyfriend, Chase. He's such a little button. Ugh, he's just so cute. And, like, it's really gross how, like, into him I am. No, I'm just kidding. Him and I had quite the weekend. We got invited to a Halloween party, very small Halloween party. We got invited to DJ this Halloween party, and it was by Chase's friends. It was super far. It was like an hour north of Austin in Leander, which if you're in Austin, you know, if you live south, we don't go north of the capital. Like, we don't go that far. So it was a super far away party, but all week last week, Chase and I were just like very stressed out prepping for this Halloween party because I think they thought that we were like legit DJs. Like on the Facebook event, it said there will be a live DJ. Like it's like some like wedding DJ or like some shit like that, you know, like on a wedding invite where they put like DJ or whatever, or like a birthday party, you would put like there will be a DJ. Like it felt like that. So we were literally freaking out. One of his friends let us borrow his deck that has 4 channels. And the importance of borrowing this deck that was really nice is so that we could have a plug-in for speakers to put out to the crowd, and then a plug-in for speakers so that we can hear it, so that we can hear the music and they can hear the music, because that's typically like the setup you have. So we were going to have this super fancy setup. We had this super fancy deck. I had to teach myself how to use this really developed deck because my deck is so basic. It's a beginner deck, you know what I mean? And so now having this big deck with all these buttons and bells and whistles and stuff, So going into the weekend, Chase and I were already very stressed because we were just like trying to get our sets together, trying to get music together because we wanted to do a really good job, right? You know, like he's a Virgo, I'm a Taurus, and I'm a Virgo moon. I don't know what his moon is, but I think he's a Gemini rising, or I think he has a Gemini moon. We can't figure out his rising because we don't know his birth time. But anyway, we're both perfectionists. We both want things to go well and things to go right because we care about that. That's just who we are. We care about doing a good job. We care about, like, especially, we don't care what people think, but in terms of a party and, like, in terms of, like, a set, you kind of have to care about what people think because you have to read the room. Like, you have to, like, make sure that people are enjoying the music and, like, music sets the vibe and everything. You know what I mean? So, like, we care about that. Like, in the sense, like, I don't usually care what people think, but, like, for music, I care what people think because I want to make sure people are having a good time. So all week we were stressed out, and then, like, Saturday, we were very snappy with each other. I had my period last weekend, and there were certain points where we were hungry, we were tired, and we were just very stressed at getting everything together. And then we get to the party, and I think we thought that there was going to be a lot more people than there actually were, so it was kind of, like, weird. And it was a house party, and I think the house was too big for how many people there were because everyone kind of spread out. Like, at one point, I was DJing to no one in the room. And so we had planned out these sets. We had thrown Chase's sets last minute, like, very last minute together. Mine were already ready to go. I was super excited about my sets. And then we get there, and we're just kind of feeling out the crowd, and honestly, the whole time, Chase and I did not play our sets. We kind of just played around with different stuff. We played hip-hop, we played dubstep, we played house, like, we were just kind of playing whatever. And, like, the people were just so spread out. Like, people were in the garage, people were in the living room, or they were outside, and, like I said, at some points, there was no one. We were playing to no one. We were in the living room, and so it was just kind of, like, very awkward, but then I was just, like, after that, I was like, I'm so sorry for, like, this day we've had and, like, how snippy we were getting at each other and sassy we were getting at each other, and, like, it was literally for nothing. Not for nothing, but it was just, like, we were so stressed out about doing a good job that, like, it didn't really matter in the sense. Like, people still had fun and stuff, but, like, we were definitely putting way too much pressure on ourselves. And so we were kind of like, yeah, we should never do that again. Like, never put that much pressure on ourselves. So lessons learned, but I'm very grateful for that man because it's just, yeah, the fact that I can go through that whole day with him, and we were just kind of at each other's throats in a way. Not in a bad way. We were just very snappy with each other. Only because we care. It was, like, in a loving way. But I'm just very grateful for him, and yeah, that's all I really have to say. I'm always grateful for him, and I've been getting in my feels a lot lately because I'm going to be leaving in a couple weeks to go to Arizona for 2 weeks. And it's going to be very weird not seeing him for a couple of days. Actually, 2 weeks. I don't know why I said a couple of days. But yeah, I've been very in my feels about him because I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for him this year. And it's just very night and day compared to my last relationship. And I try not to compare, but I'm just very grateful. That's all I'll really say for him. And yeah, that's really it. So that is it for things I'm grateful for. That was a very long story, but I'm just very grateful for my boyfriend Chase because he's just a very understanding and loving person. And yeah, very softy of me. Goal or affirmation? Honestly, I just put a goal. Do what I can to make it through this next week. Mercury is in retrograde. The election is almost over. And Mercury in retrograde ends the day that the election ends, which is very spooky. There's a full moon on Halloween, so, like, and it's in Taurus, and retrograde is already hitting Taurus is very hard. So I am just, like, all out of sorts, but I just need to make it through these next 2 weeks. That's what I'm telling myself. I just need to make it through these next 2 weeks, and we'll hopefully be okay. We'll hopefully make it to the other side. So yeah, that is it for this week's vibe check, and we are just going to hop straight into this episode and just kind of talk about everything else that I mentioned that's been on my mind. So we're going to just kind of go through a bunch of stuff that I kind of mentioned in the vibe check and didn't mention in the vibe check. So like I said, there's a lot going on astrology-wise, and, like, This past year has been very crazy for me astrology wise, just because I've gotten more in tune with it. And like I used to be very like, like I don't know, my horoscopes don't really make sense, like that kind of stuff. But then like once you start getting into like moon cycle and retrogrades and stuff like that, you really start noticing stuff. This retrograde has been fucking crazy on me. So for those that don't know, Mercury is in retrograde. It goes in retrograde maybe 2 to 3 times out of the year, and it's become very popularized and very like a thing to be afraid of by like media and stuff. But really what happens is that the planet Mercury, when it goes in retrograde, it starts going backwards in reverse or something like that. And the planet Mercury rules communication. And so typically what happens when Mercury goes in retrograde is a lot of things with like technology can go wrong, communication can go wrong, travel, contracts, stuff like that. So when retrograde comes around, it's usually like, don't sign any big contracts, don't make any big travel plans, beware of technology. And so I have been dealt the weirdest hand this retrograde. Like, one, my alarm didn't go off. 2, that big deck, the DJ deck I was talking about, it didn't break on us, but it kind of did. And it was kind of shitty because it was a friend's deck. So like on that deck, it's one of those decks that has screens above the jog wheels. And you can still connect it to the laptop and it still works with the laptop and Serato and stuff. But those screens just went black while I was playing on it. And I was like, of course this is happening. Deck still works fine. The deck is still really old, so it wasn't too big of a deal, and we told the guy, and the guy, like, totally understood. So that happened, but I was just like, what else? I've also just been, like, very, like, questioning just everything of, like, what's going on with my purpose, what's going on with my life, blah, 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 blah. So that's been happening. All the stuff I talked about with Chase, like a lot of stuff with retrograde specifically, I think for Capricorn risings have to do with relationships and some stuff in creativity and stuff like that. So I'm just like, yep, that kind of makes a lot of sense. And then there's a full moon coming up on Halloween. Like, how spooky is that, you guys? So basically, from what I've understood with this full moon, is that it's just going to kind of be a shit show. So, like, I kind of just want to stay home. We might go to, like, one little get-together kind of thing that's going to be really small, but that's probably about it. And I'm not too sure why that is, but I think there's just, like, a bunch of other planets in retrograde and planets in transits and stuff that's just going to make for a very weird Halloween. So just beware. There's this one astrologer on TikTok that I love following. Her name's Marin Altman, and she's so dope. I just think she's so cool. She's a Virgo, and I've just been following all her stuff, and so she's been telling me just to, like, beware of the shit show with full moon, and I'm like, yes, sis, I'm listening to you. And then retrograde, Mercury in retrograde ends on November 3rd, which is election day, which is very weird and crazy, so that is very interesting. So yeah, the stars have been affecting me, which I know everyone's like, don't blame it on the stars, but I'm like, something's going on. Like, I feel off, things feel weird. There's a certain energy going on. I don't really know what to do with it, so I'm just going to keep going along with it. But yeah, I've just been kind of like, what's my purpose? What's going on? Like, what's my why? Like, all this stuff. Like, what's next for me? Like, that kind of stuff, and it's just been a lot. And I just need to, like, sit down and get it all out, so I'm doing it right now, but I need to probably write it down and kind of think about, like, what's happened this retrograde and what have I learned and that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's been some other technology things, and there's been some weird stuff this retrograde, and I texted Emma and I was like, I swear it's like one thing after the other, like what else? And then I told Chase about retrograde, and like on Saturday he was like, shit, after everything we went through on this day, like I believe it. I thought he's a believer now. It took all that stuff to happen on Saturday for him to finally believe me in this stuff, but typical Virgo fashion, what can I say? And then another thing that's kind of been pressing, I guess, with this retrograde is, like, my social life is kind of just, like, it's not really existent right now. Like, I know I mentioned some gatherings, but, like, other than that, like, I just haven't really made an effort to hang out with friends, which, like, we're in a weird time, and, like, all my friends understand. They're all going through their own shit, too, so I'm really glad I have friends like that just, like, are okay with that. because I just haven't really felt like making the effort because of how much has just been going on in here and up here that I'm just like exhausted by the end of the day. And another thing I've just been toying with like my routine and stuff is like I get off at 5. It's 5:50 right now. Whenever I finish recording this episode, I have to make dinner, and then I have to be in bed by 8 o'clock. So by the time I get off work, I have 3 hours to just kind of like do whatever, but that's usually just like working and eating. And then I go to bed. So that's something that's been really difficult, is feeling like I don't have enough time to really do a whole lot. So that's why I'm trying to wake up earlier at like 5 a.m. But then like that doesn't really give me a whole lot of time to see friends. So I know I need to make it a priority, but right now it's just not a social time for me, and that's okay. Also, I'm going to be going home to see my parents for Thanksgiving. So like I really am going to be quarantining myself other than seeing Chase for that period, because God forbid I bring anything home to them. Like I could not live with myself if that were to happen. So that's where I'm at. Like I've been in a weird social space. I just like haven't really been reaching out to friends, but like I've just been going through so much that it's just like someone texted me asking me how I was doing, and I was like, I really just don't want to get into all this right now. And I just get left it super vague, and she never responded, so it was fine. But I think we're all just kind of going through our own shit right now. And so don't be mad at your friends if they're not reaching out to you. Like, we're all just kind of going through shit. You know what I mean? And so what else has been going on? Health and wellness. So last time I talked to you guys, I got LASIK eye surgery. So that vlog is now up on my channel. Everything went great. I am absolutely loving it. It's so crazy to me. I don't need to wear glasses or contacts, and it's been so life-changing. So I'm really happy I decided to make that choice to do it. It's felt really great that I can do that for myself. The only thing I still have to do is artificial tears every hour, which I've been really bad about, but I've been trying to be better about it. It's just to prevent dry eyes, but everything should be fine with that. I also haven't been working out like I typically have because I had injured my back from moving, just like bending over a lot. And then I was sitting on my butt a lot, and that didn't really help because I work from home a lot. And then once I got LASIK, I wasn't allowed to sweat for a week because it's sweat getting in your eyes and stuff. And so I'm getting back on my health and wellness. It's been very hard. I've been trying to not be very hard on myself. I haven't been eating as best as I can, but I'm trying to get back into it. Like, I've been eating healthy, but I've definitely been eating more in terms of carbs and stuff. So I'm trying to get back on that and just not being hard on myself. But I keep on reminding myself, like, I went hard in the paint last year, that like I still feel burnt out, I think, from that. And anytime I try to get back on it, being super strict and stuff, it's just very hard. So I think going into the holidays, I'm just trying to maintain again. And then probably with the new year, I'm going to think about getting a trainer or doing some type of program again. But I really think I just needed to like keep my body moving, feed myself good things, and that's about it for this year. I think I'm just going to keep on maintaining the same weight, which is totally fine. I'm really happy with that. With everything going on, I'm really glad I haven't like put on more weight from like binge eating and stress and stuff, because I know that's not good for me. And that's just a personal thing. Like, everyone's bodies and weight gain and how they handle things is totally different. That's just like how I felt about it. And so the thing is, I've stayed the same, but I feel like weight has just moved around in different places. So like it's just been interesting watching my body change and stuff, but I'm just like I'm going easy on myself and reminding myself that it's okay and everything's fine. In case you guys didn't watch one of my recent videos, I am not vegan anymore or plant-based. I am trying when I can, and I'm definitely staying with dairy-free because I noticed a lot of benefits with staying dairy-free, so I'm at least doing that. I think I have an intolerance to soy. I haven't been tested, but I noticed it. So I have been loving making this tofu salad. If you guys watch some of my vegan food videos, I make this tofu salad that is so good. It's one of my favorite things. I decided to take a break from it because I was kind of getting tired of it. I was like, oh, let's take a break. And then I wasn't having tofu for a while, and I was noticing like I wasn't having any indigestion or farts or whatever. Sorry, TMI. But I wasn't noticing any of that. And so then I got Sweet Green with my friend Kaylee, and I got a tofu salad kind of thing. And then that night I got super gassy, super into like huge indigestion again. And I was like, maybe I have a soy allergen. And so I haven't been eating soy in a while. And I don't know if it's all soy, but like at least tofu. Maybe if it's like super processed, I don't know. I have no clue. So what I'm doing is I'm still trying to have one meal with meat and then the rest plant-based. So I can still have like Beyond products because those don't have soy in it, but so I'm trying to like figure out a way to balance it out. It's all just trying to figure it out and figuring out what works best for my body. But lately my body's been feeling pretty good when it comes to what I eat. So I'm just kind of following that and seeing where that goes. But so dairy-free, soy-free is what I am doing now. But I'm just trying to feel good and do what I can to take care of myself and stuff. So that is basically it. I'm not at a gym right now. I'm still doing Camp Gladiator virtual workouts for a little bit. I was thinking about getting a gym membership, but then I'm going home for 2 weeks, so I was like, that doesn't make sense. But now it's really cold, so I'm like, maybe it does make sense because I can't really work out on the balcony right now. But we'll see what happens with that. But that's basically where I'm at health and fitness wise. It's just very interesting year. But I put in a lot of work last year, so this year I'm just trying to like maintain and still keep my body moving. I'm trying to do 10,000 steps a day. It's very hard. Given I just work from home, so that is something I'm trying to do. I have a Fitbit, so I have this go off every hour at the 50 mark. So when there's 10 minutes left in the hour, if I haven't hit 250 steps. So that's been helping, but the cold weather, I'm like, where do I go walk? Like, do I just do laps around my apartment? Like, it's so weird. So that is something I've been doing just to like keep my body moving, is doing that. And I've been finding that helping. I still do meditation every now and then. I try to journal in the morning. I haven't been doing it, so hopefully I'll be able to do it. It's just hard finding the time and getting my routine down right now. So that is something I'm really trying to work on, is getting that routine down. So, what else has been going on? I guess health and wellness leads into talking about the pandemic. We're still in this situation. I, at this point, don't really have many thoughts about it. I'm just kind of like, this is what I've accepted as my reality for right now. This is my current reality, and I just kind of have to go with it. So I'm still wearing the mask, social distancing when I can. I did see some people this weekend, so I'm just being very cautious about who I see in the next couple of days and just monitoring everything. I'm a generally healthy person, so I just keep on making sure I'm getting enough sleep, taking my vitamins and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm going to be quarantining myself so I don't bring anything to my parents. And yeah, if there's a vaccine that happens to come out, I don't know if I'll exactly take it just yet. I think I might wait it out. Obviously I miss going to music festivals. That's obviously the big thing that this pandemic has affected my life in, but I've been able to figure out other ways. Music festivals have still been getting announced left and right for 2021. I am telling you guys first, I have not bought any of them. I am just holding out. I have my ticket from Coachella and my ticket for Electric Forest that carried over, and then we'll kind of just see what happens next year. It's very weird. Normally I'm the first to plan, the first to be like, yes, we're going to this festival, yes, we're going to that festival, and just like with everything going on, I'm just not in that headspace to be making any commitments to festivals, which is weird for me because normally I'm the first to do it, and I think I needed this break from festivals more than I really thought I did. And I don't want this to come off as like, oh, she's a phony, she's a fake. How can you be a festival content creator when like you're not upset about festivals not being here? And it's like, you can be upset, but then you can also accept the situation you're in and not be sad about it. Like, I am sad I miss festivals. I'm more so sad, like, I feel bad for these companies and stuff, and I hope that they can make it through the pandemic. But I think I needed this break in terms of, like, a mental reset, financial reset. Just, like, so much good has happened without festivals. And that's that's making the best out of a bad situation. You know what I mean? And so I think I needed this break in a way, and so I'm just kind of riding it out, and I just kind of know like when the festivals do come back, what's meant to be will be, when that timing comes, it will. I'm not going to force it. So we're kind of just seeing. As of right now, there's going to be no festivals through the rest of the year. Next year, we'll kind of have to wait and see what happens. I don't have any insider knowledge, so don't message me being like, do you think Lost Lands is going to happen? Do you think ADC is going to happen? I have no idea. I'm in the same boat as you guys. I have no idea what's going to happen. So we kind of just have to hope for the best. And if things do open back up and we're able to go to them, I might be just late sending it to everything, and that's totally fine. If there's a will, there's a way. And with the brand I've created, I know I can take myself wherever I want to go. So I can figure it out if it happens to happen. You know what I mean? So, and I'm very grateful for that. I don't take that for granted. So that's kind of what I've been doing. And I just feel like it's just keep my head down, keep on working, keep on grinding, keep on working on myself, keep doing what I need to do just to make it to the next day. And yeah, so that's where my head's at with that. Obviously, there's also the big elephant in the room with the impending election coming. If you have not voted, please go vote. Early voting, I think, is ending this week in Texas. If you're able to early vote, please go do it. If you are voting the day of, please make a plan to go do that. It's super, super important, and I know we don't have the best options in front of us, but we got to do what we can to make the best out of it. And there's also other crazy things going on with that, with the recent announcement of the Supreme Court nomination going through, even before we got an actual COVID relief bill to go through, which is just like so annoying. Like, so annoying. Like, it's just so annoying. That's all I'll really say about it. I am not too into politics, which is like a very privileged thing to say. I know, I am working on it. Trust me, Chase has been trying to get me more into it and get more politically involved. It's just a doozy when everything just seems like everything is corrupt, Like, what do you do? Like, it makes me just feel so helpless. And I'm just like, does anything we do actually work? Like, can we actually make a difference? Which, like, yes, we can. But what I'm saying is, like, when you go down the rabbit hole and try and educate yourself, it's just a very dark place. So I try and do it in, like, spurts to give myself a break so I don't lose complete hope of everything, you know what I mean? So, needless to say, please go vote. Just go vote. Please go vote. It sounds like we won't have an answer exactly on November 3rd. So just do what you can. Take breaks from watching the news. Take breaks the following days and stuff before you get information overload on stuff. Just do what you can to take care of yourself. It's definitely a crazy year we've had, so it's okay to not be plugged in all the time, and all that stuff will be there when you get back. Speaking of that, social media. I have just been like at my wit's end with it lately. I have been losing followers on Twitter for some reason. I really don't know what's going on with that, but that's okay. I really don't like being on Twitter. I kind of just like have been doing it, and it's just kind of like my personal diary. And if that doesn't jive with some people, then oh well, they just don't like my thoughts about random shit. And that's okay. Like, I'm not tweeting anything beneficial, which, like, I'm totally fine with, because Twitter can be so toxic and cancel culture. Like, they are just ready to, wands at the ready to just hop on whoever to cancel. And, like, do I want that to be me? No, thank you. Even though I don't really think I have anything to be canceled over. But it's just been a very toxic place lately. So I've honestly been thinking about not being on Twitter, but I've been, like, kind of weighing out the pros and cons of being on Twitter and stuff. So we'll see about that. And Instagram has been very weird as well. They've just announced some recent changes with the Instagram algorithm, so I will talk about that in the next episode. And I've been navigating TikTok. TikTok has been very slow to grow, and I don't know what's really been going on. So that's all just been kind of there. Meanwhile, I'm still working my full-time job and then working on Vibe with 8 on the side. So that's been very interesting. I've been in a very interesting position with that. Don't really want to talk too much about it, but yeah, if all I'll say is that I've just been thinking about a lot of different things with my job. And while I'm happy that I have a job right now, I have so many other ideas and things that I think I can offer. So we're kind of sorting through that stuff. So we'll see where we end up with that. And then 5 with 8 is just, we're just trucking her along, trying to stay consistent, trying to do what we can. I think I told myself that when I go home for 2 weeks, I'm not going to do anything. I might still post on Instagram because I have some brands I need to post for, but I think I'm going to take a break and not post any podcasts or YouTube videos and just take like a real break, because that's what going home should feel like. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't feel like I need to edit or I need to work or like whatever. Like, I haven't seen my family all year, so I really want to give that attention to them. I do want to film one video with my mom, I think. Maybe my dad. I don't know if my dad will do it with her, but I really want to try and do a video with her of like quizzing her on music festivals or like EDM dictionary, rave dictionary, that kind of thing. So that might be coming. That's like the only thing I really want to do, because I feel like that'd be super fun. So yeah, that's where I've been at with working. I've just like, Emma and I talk a lot, and we've just kind of like have been like, you know, like, what's the rush in all of this? We're not going to become like full-time YouTubers. Like, let's just figure out something that sticks, you know, what makes us happy to create and stuff like that. And so her and I'm so grateful for her, because we just talk about like literally everything, and her and I are on the same wavelength about a lot of things. So we're just kind of like doing what we can, and hopefully we can figure out something in the future that we can make our full-time job. I think her and I both want to be our own bosses and stuff, so that's something that'll eventually be coming. But we're kind of like, what's the rush? Like, let's just do what we can right now and not stress ourselves out more. So I've just been trying to like take it easy and bring the fun back in and whatnot. The last thing I had written here were mental shifts. I'm trying to think what I meant by that. I've definitely have been trying to shift my mentality. This retrograde has been having me think a lot about that. Trying to think. One thing that Chase has introduced me back to is God, which I don't really talk about a lot, but I grew up as Catholic, and I haven't been to Catholic church since I went to like Ash Wednesday in 2018, maybe 2018 probably. And then before that, probably hadn't gone since with my mom or something in college or something like that. So I've been very closed off from God and religion and stuff like that. And there's not a real reason why. It's just like, I don't think the Catholic Church was necessarily for me in terms of the way that they present certain ideologies in religion and stuff. Like, I do believe that there is a higher power. I do believe that there is a God, and that there is a universe and stuff that is definitely working some type of magic and whatnot, but not necessarily magic. You know what I mean? And Chase and I have been going to church a lot lately, so I've definitely had some mental shifts in thinking and mental shifts in like how I view myself, how I view my relationship with God and the universe, and how I view some other things. So I definitely had some interesting mental shifts. Like, in one of the sermons we saw, we've been going to a non-denominational church, which I think has been a lot better for me in terms of understanding scripture and understanding Bible and stuff like that. And so one thing that we learned 2 or 3 weeks ago was talking about like how we have a mask, we wear a mask and stuff like that. And so this got me down to thinking, you wear a mask with God, and that was basically the premise of the thing of like, you go to church and everything, but then you take off that mask and you are putting into practice the word of the Lord and stuff like that. And so it got me down this rabbit hole of what's going on with my drinking, you know what I mean? So the weekend before, Chase and I had gone to an Airbnb with a couple of friends. Definitely got a little too lit, which, if you guys have known me for a while, you guys know I do have my issues with drinking. A little too much. Not an alcoholic. I don't need alcohol at all times of the day or anything like that, but it's just when I do drink, I forget my limits and stuff. And so I've been trying to really get down to like, what is the root of that? Like, why can't I stop once I start? You know what I mean? And I have begun to think about like how I've had this mask when I drink of being more fun or being like someone interesting or like I don't know. I think that is the mask I'm trying to go for, because when I'm sober, if you guys meet me when I'm sober, and just like who I am naturally, I'm pretty quiet. I'm pretty shy. We have to be on a level where we're very comfortable with each other for me to just like be my normal self, and that's just who I am, which I know is very weird for you guys to hear, because I'm very I seem very extroverted on my socials and like on this and whatever, but I kind of forget that there's people here, and I kind of just like am talking as if you are my friend, you know what I mean? So I kind of have had this shift in thinking of like, when I drink, I'm putting on a mask to people that when I'm not that, they're going to be confused. I'm putting forth someone that isn't me, you know what I mean? Whether that's like a more fun version of me, or like a careless person, or like whatever, because I always am just like, have to be in control. I always have a stick up my ass or whatever. But so I've been going down this thought pattern of like, when I present my drunk self to people, that's not who I am. I'm giving off this like different version of me, or a wrong version of me, and people might get a wrong impression of. And so if I really want people to like me for me, then I shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? So that has been like a really big shift for me. And so this past weekend at the Halloween party, like I really limited my drinks, which I was really proud of myself on. And I wasn't hungover. So and that was a situation where I could have drank a lot more, because I was with people I did not know. I only knew 2 people at that party, and like my boyfriend knew a lot more because they were his friends and stuff. So that could have been a situation where I was around new people. I didn't want to seem like antisocial or quiet, or a lot of people also get the impression that I seem like a bitch because I don't want to talk, because I don't talk and I'm not like the super bubbly person, which like I'm a Taurus. I'm not a fire sign. So like I'm not like this super bubbly person to begin with. I'm a little bit more reserved and more quiet, and you have to kind of get me out of my shell and stuff. And so that has been a big shift for me, I would like to say, and thinking about that and just working on that. That's been something I've really been working on. Another thing is not being so hard on myself. I'm getting a lot better at that, I'd like to say, and comparing myself, I'm getting a lot better at that. And yeah, I think also like self-soothing and like talking myself out of like thought spirals has been really interesting. Because I used to do that a lot and get very anxious and just like go down these spirals, and then I shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. So I've been working through that kind of stuff, which has been really great for me. So that's also what's been kind of going on. So as you guys can see, there's been a lot going on in my head. So that's why I wanted to have this episode, just to kind of be like, this is what's been going on, because it's been a lot, and I wanted to remind you guys that it's okay. With whatever you're going through, that you're going through it, you know? It's a rough year. It's a rough time we're in. And I wanted to just kind of talk through things, because maybe you related to some of this. Maybe retrograde's been kicking your ass. Maybe you haven't been able to get your health and wellness together, or a routine together, or whatever. But it's going to be okay, and whatever's going on is only temporary, and it's going to be okay. It's what I just keep on reminding myself, and I want to keep on reminding you. That it'll be okay, and this is only temporary, and we'll get through this all together. And then I got this tactic from a follower of mine when I was talking about, I think last week, I was feeling like a very anxious, lack of motivation kind of feeling last Monday, and something she messaged me. She was like, what are you looking forward to? And for some reason that kind of snapped me out of like my like days of just being so like, oh, I'm so unmotivated, what's going on with me? She asked me, what are you looking forward to? And that really snapped me out. So I encourage you guys, along with the vibe check that we do of checking with our feelings, I think what's really important is to write, what are you looking forward to? And then I also added, what has been making me happy? So while all these stressful things have been going on, here's what I'm looking forward to, and here's what's been making me happy. So what I'm looking forward to. I'm getting my hair done tomorrow. I'm so excited about that. It's funny. Emma's also getting her hair done tomorrow. She texted me and she's like, I just booked an appointment. I'm so excited. I'm getting my hair done tomorrow. And I was literally like, are you kidding me? And I sent her a screenshot of my calendar. I was like, I'm getting my hair done tomorrow. Like, this has happened to us now twice. This also happened another time. She got her hair done and I was literally getting my hair done the same day. Her and I are just so in sync, it's like actually crazy sometimes. So I'm excited to get my hair done tomorrow. Like I talked about, I'm excited. I'm finally going home. So I'm really excited to see my family. I haven't seen them since February, so that'll be really great for us. And that's really all I'm looking forward to. Like once I get to go home, then I kind of can like get out of my head for a little bit and then kind of come back to things. So I'm really looking forward to going home. In a month. A little under a month. What's been making me happy? Chase, obviously, my boyfriend. Love the kid. He's just the best. We go a couple of days without seeing each other and I'm literally like going crazy. Like I miss him. You know what I mean? We just enjoy spending our time together and like I could just hang out with him for hours, honestly, and days, and that's just what's really nice. Like, I spent every night with him last week because we were DJing together and stuff. And, like, yeah, I'm just really happy with him. He makes me really happy. So, what else has been making me happy? TikTok. I'm obsessed with TikTok. Like, I don't know what it is with the content on there, but it just makes me so happy. I've also have gotten obsessed with the Hype House and Sway Boys and stuff. I know. I'm, like, 25 years old. It's so cringe that I'm, like, I like follow all of them on YouTube. I watch their vlogs and stuff, and like it's such an unhealthy obsession, but like for some reason thinking about these millionaire kids' lives in LA for some reason just gets me out of my head, and I don't know, they're actually pretty funny too, you know what I mean? And I just find their whole culture and like not culture, their whole atmosphere and vibe of them and just like how they all interact with each other so fascinating, and how all of them are like millionaires and whatnot, and it's just like so fascinating to me. Nonetheless, TikTok has been really great. What else has been making me happy? Creating still is making me happy. If you guys have been seeing my Instagram feed, I've done a lot of Halloween looks this Halloween, which has been really fun. 13 looks of Halloween was definitely a great creative challenge for me to just kind of get out, do some new stuff and whatnot. I've also been getting some new opportunities. So I have been doing Instagram content with Bud Light, if you guys have seen that. But I recently just announced that I will be working with Bedhead, which is so crazy to me. I remember like using their products since I was little, and they reached out to me. So I'm going to be working with Bedhead Styling Tools. So stay tuned for that content on Instagram. I'm so excited about it. And then DJing. That's been my fun little hobby. I haven't been able to do it, so getting to do it this past week and weekend was really great. I do have those sets in the back of my pocket for Halloween, so I might try and record those sets this weekend. Maybe get a mix out for Halloween, we'll see, or do like a Halloween hangover playlist. I don't know. So that might be coming, but yeah, so that is what's been making me happy. So I really hope that despite everything I just blurted out to you guys, that you can relate to it and get some takeaways from it. So I want to urge you guys maybe today to take some time to find out what you're grateful for today, find out what makes you happy, and think about what you're looking forward to, and continuously find ways to replicate that, and find ways that if something is making you happy, lean into that. If DJing or a hobby is making you happy, like keep on doing it, you know what I mean? If there's a certain person in your life that has been making you happy, keep on surrounding yourself with that energy, or make sure that the people in your circle and the people closest to you are the people that are making you happy and being positive influences and not negative influences and whatnot. So this was a long spiel of an episode of just what's been going on in my life, and I think I really needed to just get it out there because there's just been a lot in my brain a lot lately, as you guys can tell. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We will be back with our regularly scheduled programming. Maybe I'll be able to record that social media algorithms episode for you guys next week, since this week wasn't really anything other than me venting. So thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for vibing with me today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay vibey, Vibe Tribe. Bye.